Good morning, farmers and fellow viewers. This is Mr. Mzerengwa from Inyondo Farm, a seed potato grower or a potato farmer. So I'm just going to take you through our seed potato journey from land preparation up to where we are, which is now crop management and close to harvest. So we started on by preparing our piece of land. We had ample time to prepare our land from plowing, your disking, your marking, your ridging, and planting. So after we did our land preparation and drenching our auxar meal into the furrows, as you know, potatoes are nowadays grown or planted in furrows. So after we had marked our furrows, we drenched our auxar meal, which is basically to deal with your nematodes in the soil. So after that, we applied our Humson products together with our basal fertilizers, which is Kynoch Ultra. That is the basal fertilizer we used, which was on a proportion of 1,000 kgs per hectare. This field is about 3 hectares. So we used 1,000 kgs of Kynoch Ultra. Our initial recommendation for our basal fertilizers was 1,600 kgs, according to the soil recommendations and recommendations from our agronomists. But because of the application of these foliar-based fertilizers, it limited the quantity of granular fertilizers that we had to apply. Remember that we were recommended to apply 1,600 kgs per hectare, but we ended up reducing our fertilizer quantities to 1,000 kgs a hectare. The most important thing for every farmer is to minimize cost. Cost is an essential element of the farming business. Remember, you are not farming as a hobby, but you are farming as a business. You want to make a profit. So the more you manage your costs, the more your farming venture is profitable. So we applied our Bio NPK. This is our Bio NPK. It's a product by Humson Complex. After application of this Bio NPK, we then applied what is called carboamine, and we applied it as well on planting. This is their product, carboamine. All these were applied at planting so as to increase the uptake of nutrients in the soil by the plant. So this is what we did. And after we applied our carboamine, we could really see that our crop was very healthy, and it was developing, and it was developing roots, and it was very healthy leaves, healthy stems, and so on. So we could only attribute this to the application of these products by Humson Complex. And as we went on through the cycle of our crop, we also had this foliar-based fertilizer which we applied, which is called Grow Plus Foliar. Many growers or many farmers would know about this product. If you are really into the modern agrarian revolution, you would know that these are taking the agrarian reform and revolution by storm, these kind of fertilizers. So we did apply them, and we saw, as a farmer, you would always move around and check the progress of your crop, and we would see tremendous results as a result of the application of these products. Grow Plus, your Bio NPK, your Carboamine. From there, we then applied another foliar-based fertilizer again, which is Ocean. Ocean is not actually a foliar-based fertilizer. It's a stimulant for enabling the plant to resist stress. So we used it. You remember late last year, there was, of course, we irrigate our field. Our entire field is on irrigation. But there was a time when, the water levels from every water source was dwindling. So our plant went through a stress period during that time. But because of the application of this product, Ocean, our plants, our crops were resilient. They were resilient to disease. They were resilient to heat and moisture stress. This is attributed to this liquid fertilizer, Ocean. And after that, we applied another one, which is Silicare. Silicare, we applied it as well at the final stages of our crop. We planted our crop on the 20th of October last year, 2024. So our crop is now in its final stages, ready for harvesting, going through the hardening process. We applied this fertilizer to enable our plant to go through its final stages before we harvest it. So from the paces that I've taken you through, our field is looking good. We have taken samples of some of the crops and have seen the amount of yield that we have. Basically, as a potato or seed potato grower, you want a minimum of 6 tubers per plant. But you would see some of our plants are more than that. Many of our plants, in fact, are more than that. You would see 30 in a plant, you would see 20, you would see 25, 15, 9, some 6, of course. But the majority, they exceeded what we had expected. So we can only attribute this to the products that we have been using from Humson complex. So for disease and pest control, it's quite an important aspect throughout the process of growing potatoes, because they are vulnerable to many kinds of pests and diseases. We used a number of chemicals for tutor, both systematic and contact-based chemicals. By systematic, we are talking about chemicals that you would spray into the plant and it will go through the system of the crop, so that anything that will come would try to attack the crop, it will be resisted by the crop. You would have built resilience. We also use the contact pests and insecticides, pesticides and insecticides. These chemicals that, when you see maybe a cutworm, or maybe when you see tutor, once you spray it, then the pest will die instantly as a result of the contact that would have done with the chemicals. We used a number of pesticides and fungicides and insecticides. Your copper, your tebuconazole, your mancozeb, etc., etc., etc. It was a whole melting pot of chemicals that we used. The same applies with insecticides, your belt. The same applies with your pesticides. We use a number of them. your Mark 10, and many of them. So you do see that we had a whole regime of pest and disease management, which is important for crop management, because as a farmer, you can plant, you can have 100% germination, but if you don't manage disease and pests, you are doomed. Your yield will dwindle. Per hectare, we planted around 4,000 tubers. And out of every tuber, we expect an average of 6 tubers, which means that for every tuber that we planted, we are expecting a minimum of 6 tubers. That will make the seed growing business profitable. We are expecting a minimum of 6 per every tuber that we put under the ground or that we planted. So you can do the mathematics and you can calculate. For farmers, it is important as well to have an access to the market. We have spoken about making sure that you are managing costs as an essential element of the farming business. But it is also, you can have a good yield, but you also need to have access to the market. So it is important for every farmer to ensure that every crop that they are cultivating or that they are farming or they are growing has got a market. The good thing about farming is that whether you are farming maize, whether you are farming groundnuts, whether you are farming potatoes, people will always want to eat. But most of these farm produce, they are perishable, and you do need to have a ready market for your crop, so that you can then have your revenue back. Already have a market for our seed potato, straight from the field to the storage sheds, then transported to the contractor, who will then pay us whatever we would have multiplied from the tubers that we were given. So access to the market is also important.